Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Radiant Black podcast. We are now officially in our rebuild era, just like the comic book. So we're going to be bringing you new issues, focused on our new titular hero, of course, with dating apps, in-universe franchising, and all of the above. And if you don't know what we mean, you'll see in a second. But I'm your host, Rebuild Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and fellow rebuild hosts. We're going to say that a lot this episode. Charlie, Ali, and Matt. How's everyone doing?
Man, this feels right. Finally back. Been waiting for this book to come back for a while, and it came back with a bang. So definitely excited to get into it. We got Rogue Sun coming out, or I guess this week as this episode releases. So really excited for that, and can't wait to get into it. How are you, Ali?
I'm doing great. Had some technical issues today, but I literally made it in the nick of time to join this recording as I'm very excited. We are back. We're ready to rebuild, and not just with Radiant Black, but the whole Massiveverse is looking great. And I don't know if you guys have seen it pop up on your social media feed, especially my YouTube. I keep getting those, Massiveverse shorts with Rogue Sun, Radiant Black. So
Yes.
it's been great.
With
Excited
the
to get into it.
voiceovers too. With the
Yeah, yeah,
voiceovers too,
yeah.
which is incredible.
How about
Yeah,
you, Matt? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a wild era in Radiant Black. I guess we have, I don't know what the swearing rules are on YouTube, but we have our first S posting, I guess, in the Radiant Black universe. We've got some wild stuff in this issue. I'm going to try to keep the stupid theories to a minimum, but they were just sprouting up in this last reread. So I'm excited by the new era of Radiant Black. And yeah, what about you, Bash? How have you been?
Very good. I mean, if we don't want to do too many tangents today, but I will say if you've been keeping up with the Comics Pro news, Comics Pro being a retailer summit for all the pros and people from the actual companies like Marvel, DC, and all the indie companies come together to kind of talk about what they're going to do for the next year, exciting things. And today we got a big exciting announcement, which is Marvel and DC are doing a new crossover. So two books, one that's going to be called DC Marvel from DC, and then one called Marvel DC from Marvel. So I haven't really said who's going to be writing it or drawing or whatever, but it's an exciting time. Lots to look forward to in the comic book industry. We're just talking about it in the background how it's been a huge year for comics. We got Radiant Black coming back, we got crossover galore, and now that the crossovers are topical again, we could maybe put pressure for that Radiant Black Invincible crossover. That's just put them on the cover together. I'll buy the cover. We don't even need them in the comic book together. If we get Radiant Black and Spawn on the cover together, we can get Radiant Black and Invincible on the cover together. So without further ado, let's talk about issue 31. I'll pull up the covers here. So we've got an exciting cover. Not only is it the rebuild era, but it's also the return of the banner. The banner. Yeah. It's kind of growing on me. It looks nice.
Looks good on this one. Yeah.
No, you have looks good on this one. The actual cowl. It looks nice on this is the reprint, the gold one. It looks really nice. It's hard to see, but it looks really nice. The banner. So it works. Yeah. It works. Yeah, we got the winner of the vote. So obviously there's going to be huge spoilers for this episode moving forward. Spoilers for issue 31, but also spoilers for everything Radiant Black related. Marshall won the vote. If you read this issue, in the back of this issue, they do mention that they're eventually going to reveal the statistics, and they said it was close. So that's really exciting. But yeah, rebuild era. And we got the, of course, the creative team writer, Kyle Higgins, with his writing partner and creative partner, Joe Clark. And then we've got Eduardo Ferigato, the man, the myth, the legend, doing the artwork. And he did this amazing cover with the winner of the vote. And we got Rod Fernandes on the colors. And, of course, Becca, the untouchable Carrie, doing the letters. Man, she's
what a great name.
Dethrone her. Yeah, exactly. so we've got this cover finally. This, if you guys remember, this is the cover they shared. Yeah, foil. It looks amazing. Kyle shared a picture on the newsletter, the most recent newsletter, with the picture of the foil itself. It looks amazing. I'll have to try to get that. It's a Marcelo Costa cover. And if everyone remembers, this was featured in the original, I think the first trade. It's in the hardcover now. And when we got those boxes, those Radiant Black boxes, this was in the USB as some of the unused artwork. Yeah. So nice to see it finally used. Beautiful. Yeah, awesome cover. We'll have to definitely try to track that down. It's these incentive variants are getting rare. And then finally, we've got the cover B by Ricardo Robaldo. And what this is it's a connecting cover. I think they're doing 4 of them or 5. I don't know. I don't remember how many there are, but we've seen 3 already. So he's going to do at least 2 more after this. And they're pretty sweet. So I can't wait to get it. Obviously, we're going to be grabbing all these variants. So that's it. That's it for the covers for this issue. in terms of the issue, we got sent the PDF early. I actually got it like from my retail connections, like on the Lunar, but I also noticed that they sent it to us. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, everyone at Team Massiveverse. It allowed us to put out this review on time on the Wednesday that the issue comes out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna share some quick synopsis here before we go into the issue. So there is a previously page in order to get everybody back up on track.
If you're happy to see this.
Yeah, if you're a new reader, it's like a text summary of the story so far. But I'll read it right here. So best friends Nathan Burnett and Marshall Ward discovered the Radiant, a cosmic artifact that let them become the superhero Radiant Black. For a time, both Nathan and Marshall were Radiant Black, but it couldn't last. They had to choose. The robot army known as Catalyst came to Earth, led by Premier, and seeking to challenge Radiant Black in a series of trials for control of the Radiant and the fate of the Earth. With Nathan serving as Radiant Black, he and Marshall briefly visited an alternate timeline, one where Marshall had taken the mantle and, having lost Nathan and hundreds of thousands of civilians, took his place at the Premier's side. Returned to their own timeline, Marshall built a weapon to separate the Radiants from their wielders. Cut off from their god, the Catalyst army fled, and Nathan permanently relinquished control of the Radiant to Marshall before leaving Chicago. It has been 5 months since the end of the Catalyst War, which I think is also, it's been 5 months since, like literally since the end of the war, but literally also it's been 5 months with a hiatus. So it's a nice, like, Ultimate Spider-Man kind of kind of tie.
Yeah, and they moved the credits page to the back too, which is kind of odd. I assume it's the same in the hard copy, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Also, I just realized Rogue Sun's in 1 month, not next week, so that just kind of made me sad. But continue.
Yeah, but at least Rogue Sun is coming back with the introduction of 2 Rogue Suns.
Yes,
and then it's the next issue will be a crossover.
Yeah. We got Vicarious next week though, so we get to end that off. Some Ryan Perry.
Yeah, not since Tatooine have I been this pumped for Twin Suns, so this is gonna be sweet. And that's the nerdiest thing I've said today, probably. But we got a new start here, and we're starting off. This issue I found is really evocative of the first issue of Radiant Black. We start with a phone screen, just like the beginning of the series, which I thought was cool. With something that's even more distressing than a bank account with negative whatever the hell in it.
Yeah, this one's just as bad though, because like there is this mystery throughout the issue, right? You see the shoe, and at first it's kind of confusing. Like, and we'll talk about it more when we get there. I don't want to spoil it right off the bat.
Yeah, but Sonic the Hedgehog died. I remember it was brutal. I could
the shoe. Yeah, the shoe is representative of something which is really, it's ambiguous at the beginning of the issue, but it's revealed later on. But yeah, that's what we get the phone. We get Marshall at home, and I think the picture actually really summarizes the rebuild theme, because like he is rebuilding. The city of Chicago is rebuilding, but also like look at this. This is a guy with his mattress on the floor. Right?
He lost his house, right? That we don't know how the hell he got.
Very bare bones. Yeah, nothing there but the base. Right?
Doesn't even have a hamper for his laundry. Just on the floor.
He did mount the TV surprisingly later, and we see in the issue. So at least he's got that going for him.
He's got his priorities set right.
That'd be so easy with Radiant Black powers. Yeah,
yeah, for real.
This page really reminded me of, I think it was issue 9, where you see the montage of him waking up, and he goes and he gets some cereal. He smokes a joint in the cereal, and then he goes out and talks some trash to a bunch of kids. So yeah, this is really showing Marshall's growth too. Like he's getting up early, he's getting ready, and he's going out like bright and early just to
I'm glad you noticed that too, because
trying to be better.
Back in that issue, I'm pretty sure he didn't wake up till like much later.
It was
kind of man. Wait, you guys are missing the important thing here. What kind of man puts his shoes right next to his bed?
Technically, it's right by the door. His bed's by the door. So what's he supposed to do?
Okay, I'm gonna take it as maybe he only rented this one room. He rented this one room. He doesn't have any other place to put his shoes. But no, that is super.
In the Middle East, bro, if you do that to an Arab mom or dad, bro, they will beat the shit out of you with those shoes, bro. That's what they'll do. Man.
We know,
leave them outside the apartment and not bring that shit in.
But anyway, we know how bad that buildings are and people that own them. So like, I'm sure rent went up like a ton too. Like, crisis, but very few places to live. We're gonna jack that up. Yeah. I love the lack of text actually in this page. Like, he does say, okay, I got it. But like, other than that, it kind of lets the mood kind of take over. It
somber,
transitions you into it.
Yeah, and you see the tents. People are displaced.
Like, it gradually lights up, but it's like bland still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tents. Yeah. project.
does
It's like
a-
almost a new project, right? They're right
Well, that's
outside the
relevant.
buildings too. Yeah.
Someone mentioned on the
Yeah.
Discord, I forget who, they were asking, like, is that going to show up the people that were displaced from the other timeline? And yeah, that's going to be a big
Yeah.
thing going
Mhm.
forward, or at least in this issue.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
100%. That's gonna be a big thing. And yeah, so I'll share some pictures. I got an image here of I don't worry, Ryan. I only put very few images this time.
Is this a new
I don't-
catchphrase coming up too? The time to make donuts? Is that our new like?
I guess so.
Could be.
So this page I had to show. That's the page of him as he equips the Radiant and then flies. And then they did this really cool thing that other people have done in comics. Mark Waid's been doing it a lot in every issue of World's Finest, where you turn the page and it's a huge splash page with the title. Like the title's there. I like that a lot personally. I love this page. I really do. That's why we made it the background of the stream. I just think it's gorgeous. It reminds me of that time he was flying over California. Was it San Fran maybe? So yeah. I do love this page. I love the detail on the boots and everything. It's really good to be back. It feels like you're coming home in a way, even though the home is a crater kind of. So yeah, really nice image. And one sec. And then
let's has proceed. Like a lot of destruction in it too, right? You can see the marina, the boats are all messed up. Half of them are sinking.
It looks like a battleground for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
This is where like Bruce and this is where Batman and Superman took Doomsday at the end of BVS.
literally.
Like this is where they fought because Zach was sad that people were upset about Man.
Don't worry, guys. It's safe.
Yeah, it's exactly. So yeah, we're downtown. We're kind of getting a sense of the vibe. We see that the big Colossal, the Premier's Colossal is actually still there, which I thought was a surprise. I was like, damn. But logistically speaking, I like that there's a bit of realism here because they're like, look, man, like this is a huge robot. Like, how do you want us to move it? Like, how do we even begin to move this thing?
Right,
yeah.
Well, even Batch, you saw in Halifax, there was that crane that fell or whatever, and it took like forever to take out.
It took a long time. Yeah.
So, like this would take forever. It's bigger than anything we'd ever move. Who knows how much that metal weighs? Because I don't think it's earth metal, so it's probably like massive.
I think that's the thing too. Plus, yeah, I doubt they use earthly screws or anything to take this thing apart nice and easy. So yeah, no, I love this problem, and we get another kind of nickname here. They call Radiant Black Raid. They say, "Hey, Raid, how you doing?"
I think it's Rady. I think it's R-A-D-I.
Yeah,
R-A-D-I.
Yeah.
Oh, that might even be worse. Oh,
I think it's Rady, like Spidey, right? Like Spidey.
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
like
Spidey.
It's like Rady. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I love it. This reminded me a lot of like Invincible in a lot of ways, in the good ways, like not in a like it's similar way. You know what I mean? Like it gave me those vibes of like rereading like the arc pre and post conquest. Like there's a lot of similar like rebuilding kind of happening. And
we're literally rebuilding from a lot of stuff, and you can see there's different ways that everybody kind of looks at Radiant Black. We see a lot of different perspectives of the people. Some people love them and kind of see, hey, can you help me lift this? Because if you're construction, that's your whole day. It's getting like done.
It reminds me of Dinosaurs. It reminds me of the dinosaur stuff. Do you remember how like they destroyed? Spoiler alert! Let's pick up the next 10 seconds.
Invincible's on the brain lately.
Yeah. They destroyed Vegas. And then, like, that was directly a result of a choice made by Mark because he chooses to believe Dinosaurus at the time, who, if you remember, like, Dinosaurus has a very Jekyll and Hyde situation between, like, the human version and, like, the actual dinosaur. They're, like, two different people. This reminded me a lot of that. So I love that. It really reminded me of, like, like, there was this destruction. And the most important thing to take away from it, though, is that people look at Radiant Black differently. It's not everybody has, like, one perspective on Radiant Black. You see that there's division amongst the people in terms of some people see him as like a hero, some people see him as like the reason this happened, and they blame him. And that's going to be important moving down the line.
And I think it's cool on Marshall's side too, because he's straight up just out here trying to help. Like I remember in kind of a scene we kind of get an homage to is like in Radiant Black 9, where he's just going around trying to save people. He goes on the highway and tries to fix some problems, but it just starts creating more problems. But yeah, which in this he just
tries
goes
to lift the car. When he the tire goes flat or something, and
he tries to dispose of the arm. The arm
here,
ends up
I think
causing
he's just trying to help. Whereas in that issue, he was, I think, just trying to gain some, like he just wanted people to start liking him, and he was creating problems that way. Whereas as in this, he's genuinely trying to do better. Like we do see a lot of growth from Marshall.
Circle Guy News has a lot to do that. Like they've got a lot of work ahead of them now. That they were like almost like his PR firm helping with this, and now like he's hated again, right? Even people don't think that two dimensionally, where they think like he caused the war, right? If it wasn't for him taking the power, there would be no war, and there wouldn't have had to be any loss at all. When I don't know, this is probably going to happen regardless. And technically, they probably ripped a band-aid off for the whole universe. Unfortunately, it had to happen in Chicago. So either way,
someone would have taken it, right? Someone would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very true. That's very true, though.
Yeah. I do want to say I love that they show him going to all different parts of Chicago, like showing that he's committed to helping everyone. He really is trying, like you guys said. And one thing I thought was really funny that stuck out to me, just like I just thought it was hilarious, like genuinely funny writing, is that when he goes to the northwest side, he's helping an old lady and he says, ow, because he's getting her cat who's scratching the hell out of Radiant Black. And he says, come on, your cat, ow, lady, stop it. And then she says, I called for human police. And he's like, that's racist. That was so funny. Like, that's just hilarious. Like, that's a very Marshall reaction. I also love the expression on his eye as he's getting scratched. Like his eye, he looks like
she calls him calls him an alien communist.
Yeah.
I'm not saying an alien communist.
Yeah, I love how he told her, like, that's not how communism works. Like, it's just like straight up. Maybe try watching a channel other than you knew exactly what he was gonna say. Yeah.
There was some good banter in this. He takes the arm. Finally, he tries to fix a problem, and he just dumps it into
the lettering,
into the
lettering
water,
where he says "This day sucks." Where he's like, "This day sucks." It looks like a dick, bro. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Oh my god!
I just say, bro. I just say it looks straight up like a wiener, man.
This episode is off to a great start.
Yeah, I did think it was a great. Like, I do like the lettering though. Like, I even though I think it's funny, like I actually thought it was a really cool way to portray that. Like, as he's kind of leaving the pack, because he's not in the panel's view, he's like moving away from it. So I thought that was a cool way to convey that. I love his comeback about the environmental impact. When the environmentalists are telling him about like the drinking water and like the environmental impact of dropping the arm in the ocean, and then he's like, "Dude, go crush some Xanax." I get it. It's like, this man, he's so brutal. Like, I don't know. Anyway, he's still Marshall, is what we're trying to say. Yeah. But this is the funniest thing. So at the end of this page, you see him like, his eyes glow, and he's like, he's shocked because he sees something on his phone. And you're thinking, before you flip the page, you're thinking like, okay, maybe some destruction or some new mission. And it's not that. He got a match on what is like, I'm assuming Tinder in the Radiant in the Massiveverse. And the match is this like, a cute looking girl named Erica wearing glasses, redhead, I'm assuming, just based on red or brown. I can't really. I'm assuming it's red. Is it red?
I think red.
Yeah,
I think
looks reddish.
Yeah.
We're four dudes though, so colorblindness could be a factor as well. So we'll have to, ladies that listen to the podcast, let us know.
Yeah. So they meet at some. It's like snowing where they end up meeting for their date, and you see Marshall's in his normal outfit, and there's a bit of like awkwardness, but I wouldn't.
It's very endgame vibes, like post endgame dating vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because he doesn't even know what to tell her in terms of what he does. Like, he hasn't thought it through that much. He knows he can't reveal obviously that he's Radiant Black, so he's just like, my job involves me going places and doing things. And she's like, okay, cool. And I feel like they're kind of struggling at first to find common ground, but it ends up being okay later on. There's a little bit of awkwardness. The phone rings. He gets some notification that he has to go somewhere else eventually. But before that, he's talking about how he has to be better. And obviously, this girl has no idea what the hell he's talking about. He's just like, what is this guy telling me I have to be better? Like, on our first date, like, cool.
Straight up monologue about have to be better. Tip: don't mention how you have to be better. Like, talk yourself up. Don't say like,
Yeah. She says, it's funny when she says like, he's like explaining his life and like, oh, I have to be better. I let people down. And she's like, oh, you used to work in a video store. You said like, what the hell?
No one gets a chance to do what I do.
Yeah. She's just like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's like, oh, I used to. I'm independent now. And I'm like, setting a good example already. But I think, things, there are a little bit of bumps here and there, but things are going relatively well. And they seem to like enjoy each other's company. They're both having their little cute like drinks. And then he ends up driving. He ends up walking her to her car. She gives him a kiss on the cheek. He thinks like, obviously, I mean, who wouldn't? That went well. She seems like she enjoyed his company. Then he goes home, and when he goes back home, obviously he's got things are looking up for him. He's like, he's blowing, he's whistling some tunes. He's clearly having a good day. So that made a difference, right? And once he gets home, we get a really cool insight, because we see that a portal opens into the house, and we see Eva grabbing food and some drinks out of the fridge. So now we find out that she is still doing shit in Paris, right? I think she's in some school or something, but she's actually rooming with Marshall, which is convenient, obviously, for both of them. They get to save some money. Yeah, everything.
I wonder if this is her
cool.
apartment. I wonder if this is like her original apartment.
No, it's way too messy. Oh, the original one maybe.
Did she live in Chicago?
I have no idea.
I forget. I don't think she was living in.
I don't think so either. But that's a good one. I'm sure some listener.
Yeah, please.
It was
let
somewhere
us know
like that.
if you know. Yeah.
Definitely. The important part is, where is Kevin McAllister at this point? McAllister. Is he at the house?
Well, where's the donut shop? Where's the donut shops in Chicago, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was like right across from the Best Buy where she got her new mic from. So she has to live somewhere.
We're not even in Chicago. We're in Lockport, aren't we? Like I don't know. We don't know enough about Chicago. We're like Canadians and like Ali, you're the best.
You know what's funny too? It's funny because like Kyle is from Chicago, obviously, and he loves the city. That's where he grew up and whatever. Yeah. And I love how he incorporates that into the book. Like even the restaurant they went on the date,
dude, Kyle,
I looked it up. It's a real place.
It's a real place.
It looks super cool.
Dude, Kyle, I don't know if you guys know this, but like in New 52 Nightwing, Kyle literally made Dick Grayson change where he lives to Chicago. Yeah, like literally, the dude became like a resident. I was just like. It's like, my God, happens, bro. Yeah. That was Illinois. I enjoyed it though.
Illinois tourism board should really hook up Kyle with like they should pay for like a quarter of this comic. Just saying.
They should give him the key to the city. Kyle should just have
at the very least. At the very least,
like above his. Yeah,
but no, I like this.
Seriously, I do love the representation though. Seriously, no joke.
No, it's
cool. We get a lot of we get a lot of New York City representation in a lot of media, especially superhero media. It's nice to see a different city every once in a while.
Yeah. I do find it funny that he asks Eva, why are you coming to Chicago? Like, why are you portaling back home? Basically, when you have Paris,
she's coming back to grab some food from the fridge.
Yeah, she wants the tacos. She's like, they can't do tacos, bro. I'm like, I actually understand that. Like, I can relate to that. Sometimes you just want to eat like something from back home, right? Like that's hard to find authentically, or maybe it's just depending on where you're hard to find at all. So I do love that. But I love the way you could even like see like, especially since we know that Marshall's voiced by Will Friedle. I always see Eric Matthews here, or is that? I'm assuming that's his name. I haven't watched too much Boy Meets World, but I'm watching it these days. Where it's like, I'm grabbing a drink with Erica. It's like you can hear him say it. Like you can literally like almost like sound visualize it, because that's how much
this is the most sitcom-y thing, like sharing an apartment with a friend, blah blah blah. Like I'm not saying it as like a cliche or anything like that, but it does feel like the most sitcom-y, so I can kind of get how you're getting the
I love their relationship though. They're always a good duo. They're always a good duo, and Marshall definitely has a different appreciation for all these people that after what he's seen, and like he saw an alternate version of himself kill all these people. Remember the first time he went back to his world, he gave Eva a big hug, and she was just like, oh, what the heck. Plus, it's cool.
They're all each other have too. Like they both lost Wendell. She was close with Wendell, and Nathan's off doing his own thing. So it's cool to have each other still doing the super heroics. Other than Kieran, who you can't really trust and you're not really sure. So these two really are like a team. So it makes sense.
Would you guys agree that Eva's probably his closest friend after Nathan?
Yeah, probably.
Other than who he works with, for sure. He used to work with that lady at the
I forget
the video store, but probably even they're probably tighter now.
Even then, I would say circumstantially, because of the last 6 months, I would say Eva is probably closer now, because they've done life and death shit at this point.
And apparently they've been living together for 5 months. Even if she's in Paris,
she's zooming in and out. Yeah, I will say, she says, he starts like saying some stupid shit in French, and he says. It said Eva's like, oh, did you screw it up? And then he says something in French, and she's like, not if she speaks French. And that's where he says, no, seriously, it was good. She totally got me. Plus, let's be real, I'm a catch, like literally a superhero and a good person, better every day. And then he's like, what we think from Buddha Marshall. So this is the funniest thing, right? So on the next page, Eva says, don't say that to her, as she portals back to Paris. And then he says, duh, bring home some baguettes, which, I mean, that's a winning line right there. Then he looks at his phone and he sees Erica says to him, hey, so it like literally right after, hey, so it was nice to meet you, but I think I'm going to have to pass on Hot Pot next week. Something just doesn't feel right. You seem like a food guy. A food guy. Yeah, food guy, though. Best of luck on your journey. Then she says she corrects her, says good guy. And that's where he puts the the earpiece into his ear, and he starts listening to podcasts about like Radiant Black in general. It's almost like he's trying to get it's like a litmus test for him in terms of like deciphering how the public feels about him. And I thought this was like, I understand why Marshall is doing this, because he feels that need for redemption, but I think this is a torturous way to do it, because like the media, especially like random people podcasts, like they don't know him like the other people do. So
and hate online travels faster anyway, so people can just do it for clicks. One thing I will take Radiant Black to task is that we really always nail like the representations of like media and like texting and what Reddit looks like. Here is a little weird. When he says Erica, when they text him, we could have just showed the top of the phone where it said Erica and have her message, and we would have like saved space on the phone and made it like smaller. It's the one time that it kind of stands out. It's a super nitpicky. It looks clean as hell.
That's true.
But you rarely would it say Erica on top unless it's like something weird with your phone. I don't know. It looks like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Either way, I like this this element with the text, and then looking it up, we got a little bit of Easter eggs here. This is the one of two really Easter egg filled panels. We got Circle Guy News mentioned, No One of course, and Girl Meets Parallel World, which is probably something new for his podcast, which is clever. So I like that.
Grey will feed Radiant Whack.
Radiant Whack is true. Yeah.
It's hilarious, man. Oh my god. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Girl Meets Parallel World. So if you guys don't know what that's referencing, it's referencing Boy Meets World. Obviously, Nathan and Marshall are both voiced by two of the mains lead actors of Boy Meets World. So that's the reference there, which is a Hunter Strong. Is that his name, or is it something Strong? It's something Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle. Those are the two guys. So so I do like the lettering, especially by highlighting the balloons with different colors to distinguish between who's speaking. I thought that was a nice little touch. When they say vigilante, there's nobody keeping him accountable. I couldn't help but think of No One, even though it has nothing to do with what's going on. It's just like a little callback there. In the next page, though, that's where Eva's back there, and she's asking him why his background is a kid's shoe, and he says, "Hey," and that's where we get what do you call it? Some sort of crime report comes up from the scanner, so they have to go somewhere. So he is not revealing just yet why it's a shoe, but we'll find out as we keep going. So now we're at East Hyde Park in Chicago. As you can see, obviously the area is still littered with tents everywhere, which gives you an idea of the vibe right now in the city, of how the destruction has led to many people just losing their homes, losing their livelihoods, and having to resort to that, unfortunately. So yeah, this was really fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie, like this was pretty freaky. This was some Vicarious shit.
This felt like No Man.
It reminded me of that.
This felt like the end of Vicarious.
It got so freaky all of a sudden. It was like, dude. So yeah, he gets a scanning report to some guy. He walks into his apartment and he sees that the person's throat has been slit, and they're basically in a puddle or a pool of their own blood in the bathtub. It's quite unnerving. So it's a graphic scene. I apologize, but it's pretty cool. Like it's not the kind of thing I'm used to seeing so much in Radiant Black. We did see some of it in the Catalyst War. We saw a lot of blood there when they were getting ambushed, but damn, like this is quite a sight.
Yeah.
And then, and there's a bomb in the bathtub near the body. There's a bomb.
Yeah. And it's not a regular bomb, right? It's like some kind of
it's like a high-tech bomb.
Radiant
high-tech bomb.
Because the tech is
similar to the bomb that he used to in the Catalyst War, if you guys remember how he separated the things with the bomb. Yeah, so
and that's what I was worried about. If Marshall can create that so easily, I feel like that poses a big threat for him and the other Radiants. Like,
yes,
now people know, or whether it's enemies or friends, they know that there is a way to take that power away from him.
Oh yeah, it's like, when all you had to do to channel the firepower was feel something, right?
right. He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
Yeah. I can do this.
This was cool. The explosion looked amazing as always. I mean, the art's never fails to be fantastic. The colors and the digital look with the explosions, like a really cool combo. And no, it's awesome. That's not what you want to see happen. It's over the encampment too. Is these people are already displaced, and the bomb goes off, putting them in more jeopardy.
Man, this villain who's ever doing this, like you can tell he's just next level, just a menace. Like
there's also like
he's going to some dark places. Yeah. And I do like the mystery they set up, but yeah, just doing it at this location with people who already don't have very much is pretty brutal thing to do.
I feel like also he's trying to smear like Radiant Black's reputation even more by having him kind of.
That's true.
Like by showing up here, like think about it, if you're a spectator, if Radiant Black shows up somewhere that you're just trying to like live your life, and then an explosion happens, you're probably gonna blame him right away, because it's like this didn't happen until you showed up here, right?
Yeah.
So these people are already pissed at him, and now they're even more pissed at him.
Yeah, you're stirring up the anger.
Yeah, Eduardo Ferigato, one thing he's amazing at is storyboarding, and his art's beautiful. I love the pacing of this issue. It flows really nicely. The visual progression is amazing. Like, it just flows naturally. It just feels good. It feels like really like you're back. We're back. Like, I don't know how to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, when something you've been missing for a while, it's been gone for a few months, you really feel like we're back with a bang, literally. So yeah, the explosion destroys the building. This kind of gave me flashbacks, especially when you see the panel where it's just his hands trying to keep it floating. Gave me flashbacks to issue 4 when Nathan dies, right? It really reminded me a lot of that, of Nathan struggling to keep the building up together before it just crumbles upon him. And I was worried. I'm like, are we about to? Is Marshall about to get like handicapped? You know, like,
I was worried too, because you see him stunned there, like you see this bomb kind of affects his radiance. So yeah, this could have definitely been even worse if this whole building just collapsed on these like homeless people. Like that would have been extremely unfortunate. But yeah, we get a kind of a sneak peek of our new villain here, and I'm sure do you know the name? I totally forget.
Yeah, it's Jaeger.
Jaeger. Jaeger. Very very cool shift like design, kind of.
So are we to understand that was a Jaeger bomb that just went off? Is that the theory?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I guess you could say that.
Should say that. He should say that, and then he should say patent pending, just to fuck with Marshall a little bit. Yeah, not to be like, what? Like, that's so funny. I love how he doesn't speak, because I think by not speaking, he's saying so much at that moment.
Yeah,
like he's observing. It reminds me a lot of like, you ever read Nightfall, and like Bane just goes everywhere Batman's getting his ass whooped and just watches. He's just like sitting there like watching. He's like enjoying it. And like every time his boys would be like, okay, Bane, like I think he's ready to get broken. And he's like, no. His spirit has not broken yet. His mind, it's there, but his spirit is still, it's like, it reminds me a lot of that, where the Jaeger's just watching. He's like, we're going to break this guy. Like, we're going to break him, literally, his mind, his spirit, his body. And like, he's just observing him, like from not even a very far distance. And that's where Radiant Black notices him. He kind of musters the strength to deal with the rocks, the building, the debris. And then he moves, and then he notices the guy's gone. Like, boom, within a flash, he's gone. So that's where we start to get an idea of how the people around him, the Chicagoans, how they feel about him. And yeah, they're pretty pissed. So they literally tell him, he says, how he starts to ask them, how are you feeling? Can I help anybody? Is everybody okay? And they say, you did enough. And this woman's like literally feeding her baby. And then he says, no, like, you sure it's the least I can do? And then she says, no, the least you could have done was nothing. Then the robots wouldn't have destroyed everything, and we'd still have a home. And he says, hold on a second. And they say, they're right. And that's got to be like painful to hear. God damn it, bro. Like, after you sacrificed your own life, after you've rescued your best friend, after you've done everything you can, after all the shit, but it must be hard to hear that. I know they don't know, but so they said to him, you're going to get what's coming to you. And that's where we see Karen for the first time, and he looks like shit. Like, Karen just looks like shit. Like, this thing with his girl, like, he has a stubble. It's not even like the nice kind of stubble. It's like the kind of stubble where it's like you just don't have access.
He hasn't slept in weeks.
Yeah,
it looks like
he's going through accounting enemas, right? He's had a rough go. So
but he literally brings that up too. Yeah.
No, so like I like how they, it is like a dialogue. It's a dump of like what's going on, but like, the way this universe feels so lived, and of like the universe stuff post-war, there's destruction, and then the displacement of this, like he's doing nonstop work trying to, make sure that everything flows smoothly, and still, everyone's looking at him as like a failure, even though they did stop like an onslaught of alien invasion. So I don't know, it's tough for Kieran.
Yeah. And I don't know if we've talked about this, but I don't know. It just hit me in this issue, especially, and in the next page, and it could just be the kind of the art and the way Eduardo draws people. But man, he looks exactly like Marshall. Like, he looks exactly like Marshall. I don't know if he's gonna be related. Maybe he's the lost dad he's been waiting for, but I don't know why. But he to me just looked a lot like Marshall in this issue. But
I a little bit. It's the hair a little bit.
I think it's the hair, for sure. But yeah, I love this mystery being set up. I really do. I was kind of not worried. I know Kyle's a good writer, but when all these duplicates got thrown over here after Catalyst War, after they saved everyone, just what they were gonna do, because they're gonna be looking for their houses that they were living at. There's gonna be other people living there. Like, just so much chaos can go on, and we've seen they're just kind of homeless at this point. But now this mystery just being targeted, that which Kieran points out, these doubles are being targeted by this new villain, is just a super interesting twist. And I can't wait to see who this guy is and what he's all about. I don't know about you guys, but did you assume he is probably a duplicate as well from the other Earth?
Yes.
Is that why he hates Marshall?
That's my guess. That's my guess. I feel like
okay.
He has to be a duplicate that got saved, and he was radicalized by the reality that his reality is erased. Like, I think that's what happened. I think he found out somehow that his reality got erased, and that someone like immigrated him over to here. And I think he probably broke his mind, because he realized everyone he loves, everything he knows is gone, and that this is almost like a facsimile of that. And maybe not even then, because timelines, things change across different realities. Like, it's not necessarily everything will progress in the same way. So I think that's my theory. That this guy is like pissed, and he wants to kill Radiant Black, and knowing that he probably knows that, he's probably going to recruit others that feel the same way. And as we can see, it's not just people who survived from the collapsed timeline that are pissed, but it's also people who are native to this timeline that are pissed at Marshall. So it's like Marshall or Radiant Black. So like Radiant Black has an uphill battle right now, literally. Like, there's just too many things working against him.
He's weaponizing Radiant Black's reputation, and he's stoking the flames and making it much more difficult. And this was interesting. We see Nathan going through what looks like Reddit, and this is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've seen in the Radiant Black universe. I didn't even notice the Sabrina Carpenter JPEG going forward. I don't know if she's alive in this universe or not. So
she is, but Camilla, what's her name?
Camilla Cabello.
She's the one that died.
Yeah, I can't imagine Sabrina dying on the year of Sabrina Carpenter. That'd be
Kyle. What did Camilla do to you, Kyle? Did she promise you tickets and not deliver? What did she do to you, Kyle? I'm just kidding.
So funny.
You never know.
Can we talk about that part at the bottom right?
Yes. So I think there's one of the funniest jokes of the entire Massiveverse. I actually cried laughing when I read this the first time, because we were sent the PDF. So on the bottom right, so I recommend reading this entire page, because it's funny. It's really well done. I think
and there's good storytelling too. There's definitely a lot of storytelling in it.
Matt mentioned that Kyle really captures the way that people speak on the internet well. I very much agree. Like, I think he does a very good job. I'm sure he used some reference, which is fantastic.
And I don't think it's just Kyle. Like, skill issue. Like, he's not a gamer, right? So like, he is. He has a PS4, but I don't think Kyle's like gaming like like Eduardo or whatever. So
no, Eduardo games a lot.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Or like.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell they're aware of the vernacular us kids are using these days. How do you do, fellow kids? Right? Like, so. I will say the joke. I really want to talk about this because it's so funny. The joke on the bottom right. So there's a lot of anonymous, right? Because they're posting in message boards, and one person says, "What's the first thing you would do with gravity powers?" And someone replies, "Sydney Sweeney." I'm like, genuinely, like, that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. And then someone says right off, and he's right under it. It says, "Is it gay to jerk off your homie with gravity powers?"
That shit was crazy.
I think that's okay. And the funniest thing on the left is like, it sucks to have to get over the fact that Space Daddy is whatever virginity is washed or something like it's cut off. And then someone under says skill issue, and someone under says GTFO, and then right under it says virgin spotted. Like, I don't know who came up with these replies. They're brilliant. They're so good. This is like, if you play Marvel Rivals, this is how people talk in the game.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's so 100%. Funny. That's so funny. I love the one too. I think it's is it the difference, the one that says imposter, he's dunking on it.
Yes,
one image is Eduardo and one's Marcelo drawing, and they're comparing the art styles.
Really? Is that what it is?
This guy's an imposter. That's what I
that's
took
genius.
If that is
which is hilarious.
I
think Marcelo's the one on the right, and Eduardo's the one on the left.
Marcelo.
I think the reason I thought one of them was Nathan, one of them was Marshall. That's how I read it. Either way,
there's that, but I also think the reason the one on the right looks different is because it was when Jonas Trindade was inking Marcelo, so maybe that's why it looks so different. Yeah, but I will say, do you guys ever see like conspiracies and then someone says something that like is somewhat reasonable, but it's absurd, but like it could make sense? That's the message in the middle. It's like you get to the other timeline through the donut shops.
It's not fucking
That's
Narnia,
crazy.
dude.
Going back to Charlie's point about the two drawings, I think that is what's intended, because underneath that is a YouTube link which takes you to the short from the issue that we went to, with the animated short, the iconic short. So and it said which of the Radiant Blacks is this, because there's another version that's probably not drawn by either, or at least looks a lot different. I think storyboarding was done by someone on the team, but this is the third version. So even furthering that joke for the nerds like us. And of course, it's a jerk because that is now in the Radiant Black parlance, as we can say that since it's been said in the issue. Also,
has anyone tried to go to that YouTube video on there?
Yeah, I just
did. It goes to the short
video. To the
that's so good. That's so good.
That's genius. Yeah. Okay. So
see, even on the rereads, we're still like figuring out new things. Like this issue is amazing.
I remember like going to the website. We did get this when this book was on FOC. So we got this a really long time ago. We got this like almost a month ago now. So it's been a minute. Okay.
And we're aware of the irony of like going over the meta-ness of the nerds going over the nerds online with the nerds online going over that with the fine-tooth comb. So it's just layers of foolishness. Also, there is the person mentions like 900 possums. Like, who would win, Radiant Black or 900 possums?
We all know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely Possum Wanter or whatever, right? Anonymous my ass.
Stop, don't dox him.
I see you. Yeah. Not even close. It's not even stupid. Like, probably that is who it is, because who else is looking up Radiant Black online? We know for sure they're in like the sphere looking at the streams. So there would be a community online, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. Following Radiant Black in real life, how cool would it be if there was a superhero and you'd be like, oh yeah, let's see what's up to it.
This is so funny that I'm sure they had a good time putting this page together. Like, I'm sure they had so much fun putting this page together. I wonder, we'll have to ask them next time on an interview or something, like how many of them contributed to that page? Like, was it just Kyle? Did other people like Joe contribute? Did Eduardo contribute? I'd be very curious. But I will say on the next page, we see Eva coming out of the shower, towels on her head, and she has her razor in her hand, and she's yelling at Marshall. She says, hey, if you have to use my razor, can you at least... And then she gets cut off because she notices he's sitting in the dark.
Now I'm sad.
And he says, and he looks so sad. He says, you asked about the shoe. Yeah, and that's where he starts to explain to her. He says, when Nathan and I went over to the other timeline, our phone synced. I got whatever was on that Marshall cell. Why would I take that picture? What happened to me? Why would I do all those things? And she says, Marshall, listen to me. Okay, you didn't do any of those things. And he says, yes, I did, Eva. I met him. He was me. I did those things, and I'm gonna think about that for every day for the rest of my life. The only bit that's kept me sane for the last 5 months is that no one else knew about it, and now they do. So I feel like Marshall, and that's the last page where we see Jaeger, and he has a similar kind of
there we go.
Notes,
Charlie board.
Charlie board,
exactly.
Or now we can call it the Wendell board if we want to be more in universe accurate, because Wendell has that shit on the floor, right? But either way, Charlie board, Wendell board, all these like things connecting, and he's clearly. First of all, I'm surprised that Matt had the restraint not to point out that Kathy is on the fucking board. Like I'm saying, like of all the things that are on the board, Kathy's on the board. Like I find that. Like, thank you, Kyle. If it wasn't Kyle, thank you, Eduardo, man. Thank you for putting Kathy back into our lives.
Someone's throwing red meat to the Catholics out there. I don't know, or the Catholics, whichever. It's almost like Trekkies and Trekkers, the Catholics or the Catholics. It's really even the split fan base there. This is wild. Obviously, we could talk about Kathy a lot. I think we're above that, honestly. No.
Yes, Kieran. Yes, Satomi in the pictures.
I wanna ask you guys, what's that little alien? Is that?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Is that Premier outside of his thing?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I really think that's what that was, because it looks exactly like that. Yeah. And then there's so many other freaky things there.
Who's on the bottom right? Is that Nathan on the bottom right?
I don't.
It looks like an Ellis Island head.
But the hair in the back is different.
Yeah,
the hair doesn't look the same.
But he has the cops. He has the cops there. How does he know?
Is that both the cops?
I think that's one of them at least. I think these are dupes.
No, bro, that's the cop. That's the cop from the first issue, and then next to him is the woman that worked with Marshall in the video store.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like those are actual people from this timeline, 100%. And I'm just like, how does he know all this? And then you see Doppler, exactly, and then X is that XL or not XL? The music. What's the music? Yeah, Doppler. Yeah. And he has the tech. So all the weapons from the.
What if Jaeger is, like you guys said, someone from the deleted timeline, and when he came to this Earth, his phone synced, and that's how with somebody like whoever his actual identity in this world is knows Marshall or is connected to him in some way, and when their phones synced, that's how he knows all this stuff.
That'd be
this is a lot of stuff. Like they got Satomi on here, the donut shop. Is that who's the on his left, like kind of by his left shoulder? Who's
The
that
old
older
man.
guy with
I
the
don't
mustache?
know.
older
Yeah,
guy?
that's the
Yeah,
We've
only
never
one
seen
I
that.
don't know.
There's
Yeah.
no mustache
Like,
character.
what
that
if
stands
that's
out.
what if that's Marshall's dad? Because he has similar hair.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Mm.
We've never
Yeah.
seen Marshall's dad.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like
I
some
hope they go into
Einstein
that.
scientist just based on the notes. But if it's Marshall's dad, that could be cool. But theories galore. Anyway, this
Okay.
they gave us like the Easter egg like buffet in this issue, right?
Yeah.
With the
It's the start of a new era, right? We had it's Catalyst
Yes.
Wars over, so now we have some more Easter eggs. There's so many things that stood out in the first like 4 or 5 issues that we're like, oh, this we'll hold on to that. So this will probably be something we'll look back on.
Now,
And let me just talk about his design real
Go,
quick. It's kick ass. I'm a sucker for red and black.
yes.
And you
Yeah.
put a leather jacket on top.
This is
of it.
like, and he has pouches. Rob
Red
Liefeld would be
hood,
proud.
radiant black, right? Yeah, he's-
Pouches,
No,
everything. Yeah.
Badass.
They gave us the Image
badass.
Comics special with this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
I
love. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I want to ask you guys about Eva real quick. Does she know, like, Marshall was talking about, everything I did over there in the other timeline. Does she know that Marshall killed her from the other timeline? I don't know if we know that or not.
I don't know
have
if
no
we-
idea.
I don't know.
I
think she
that's
knows, like,
definitely
that some stuff went down.
now that you mention it, I feel like that will be a plot point going down because
Wasn't she there?
I don't think so.
I don't
but
think she was.
I don't think she ever sees it.
It was a
explicitly,
different
but-
version of her in the other planet. Oh, they all got wiped
yeah,
out, but
yeah.
she didn't
She
go.
got
Yeah,
killed, and
yeah.
then Marshall came back and was like, gave her a big relieved hug, and she was
Yeah.
like just
Okay.
questioning what he was doing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious about that.
Like if that's something, I think that's something important to keep in mind because I think that's something that Jaeger can use to put a wedge between them. I really do. I think he must know that. He must know that. Because if he has what Ali just said, if he synced, then he must know that Marshall killed Eva from that timeline.
But
If he's
can't
from
she take
timeline.
that away? Like, how else is he going to get the radiance if she knows he went evil in the other timeline? How
Yeah,
else
but
would she
let's
get to
think
get
about
the
it, think about
radiance?
She knows he went evil, but I don't think she knows that he literally put
That's
a
also
hole in
true.
her
That's
arm.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
fact that he murdered her, who's supposed to be like one of her best friends, and they're rooming together, I think that takes it to a whole like
Yeah.
next crazy level.
That'll probably
Maybe
be a
she'll
beat
think,
thing.
oh,
It's like,
this
do you remember
this guy
Buffy?
could
Do
do
you remember
this to
Buffy?
me.
Do you remember Buffy? Do you remember when
Vampire
Faith
Slayer?
like tries to do you remember when Faith tries to kill Buffy and it just changes the dynamic of the entire show because it's like this is like someone who's supposed to be your partner, your friend, who's like now taking your guy, like trying to kill you. And I feel like that's how it would feel. It'd be like a big betrayal. It'd be like, bro, like this is the guy who I'm supposed to trust as Chicago's superhero who now like put a hole through me, like and never brought it up. And she'd probably be confused. Like she'd probably understand, but I feel like she'd feel a little betrayed that he'd never brought it up, assuming that it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So
I do think Shift is going to show up soon too, and he'll be someone to say, "Hey, I'm from the other side, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this Marshall." So this Marshall's actually chill. The other one kind of killed everything. So like they're two different guys. I think that is something we want to reinstate. That Marshall doesn't feel, but it's like you are two different people. That guy made that call. You did not. There's something different in a different universe. Whatever upbringing, your friends, whatever it is, you didn't make that call. So don't wear the guilt of another person's decision. Like I think that's an arc.
I just thought of something. It might be like a little too bonkers, but I don't remember exactly what the explanation was that where's the other Wendell from the other timeline because he was overseeing both timelines. But what if this is Wendell from the other timeline? And that's how he
that
knows.
That would be amazing.
that would
cool.
be that would be insane. I think
that
the
would be
reason
cool.
he wants
That's why he's got that
the reason
board,
he
man.
yeah.
Because
What if he
Wendell
wants
is
to
the
kill
only
them?
person on here I can't see. I can't find
plus-
a single
plus,
picture
what
of
if he-
Wendell here.
And
What
there's
if he
Eva.
wants to
the
kill
Wendell.
them? What if
Eva
he
and
wants to
Satome
kill
are there,
them?
yeah.
Wait. What if he wants to kill them because his family died in that other time?
There you go.
Yeah,
Because,
right there.
yeah,
That's
like in
always
that
unfair.
timeline, Wendell wasn't
You know
separated
what? I
from
like
his
that,
family.
Ali. I like that. I like that a
Might
lot.
be a little
actually.
bonkers, but we'll see.
Dude, that would make it insane, bro. Because that would make it so like Wendell saved them in the first half of the story by sacrificing himself, kind of, and he gave up the Radiant to go back with his family. So like, what if this is the Wendell that actually lost his family? Not like he was like estranged from his family because he couldn't face up to like whatever, or he just lost contact. What if this one, like he was with his family and then he died, and now he's just like, I'm gonna come fuck Marshall up, like no matter what.
Yep. They both like the Wendell board, so that's
and he's smart as fuck. We already know.
Right.
Yeah, the board. Plus, he's
Yes.
smart. Like if he's using all this technology to like retrofit them and then like rework them, then he must be someone who's pretty smart. Like he must have some sort of aptitude. So this theory just got a lot more interesting.
All right, let us know what you guys think.
I do like it. Last question I had for you guys is how this was a rebuild issue. We kind of ended it off here, but as a rebuild issue, and I'm very curious if anyone hopped in this that is listening who has never read an issue of Radiant Black. How do you guys think they did at like a new jumping on point?
Yeah, please let me know. I thought this was a good jumping on point. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought it reminded me a lot of when Invincible did the same thing when they did the new all Invincible, whatever the hell they called it, and it was like a jumping on was like in the mid 40s, the 42, something like that.
They still kept the numbering.
Yeah, they kept the numbering. Yeah, but they did like the cover. They made it a whole big deal. I thought it was similar to that, where it's like you could just jump onto the story even if you haven't read it. You might be a little jarred, but I think they do a pretty good job of explaining everything. And I think honestly, if you're someone who jumps onto this issue, I could definitely see them getting interested enough to where they'd want to read the previous 30.
Like this would make me want to go read at least Catalyst War. If not like from the very beginning, it would at least make me want to read Catalyst War.
And this is a universe where you can lay it out. It's 1 hour. It's not like a lot of the failings of the MCU currently. There's so many story threads sewn out by like 50 different writers and directors that it's hard to capitalize on it. It's Kyle and Joe right now in like a small group that have a vision, and they just hone that vision, and they, course correct when they see something or do whatever. But for the most part, it's a unified vision that they think this stuff through. And Kyle's had years to think about this because we know since Radiant Black's inception, they knew about Catalyst War. So he's been thinking about the next arc for 4 years.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this issue. Let's do a real quick discussion of what happened in the letter section. So most of it is your typical like letter section fare, people just praising the book, being excited for the return. But there's of course, Owen Seiler. Everyone knows Owen on the show. 2-time champion of the Radiant Black Trivia World Contest.
Undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated. Exactly. Yeah. So some people actually say Owen's premiere, but I'll leave that for next time. Owen just talks about like whether we'll ever see he says, do you know what percentage of the vote Marshall won by, and if so, how much was it? And so Michael says, it's a great question, and it's so great that he's not going to answer just yet because he's going to write up a full breakdown of the stats of the vote, but he doesn't have the space to do it here, so it'll be sometime soon, maybe the next 2 issues. Cool. But he says, what I will say is that it was very, very close. Removing duplicate votes, I believe it was never further than 60-40 either way, and the final vote was closer than that. That's crazy. So he says, so that's all he's got to say. But they did say that at the end, if you want to get your future letters, printed in the letters column, please email mail@radiant.black. So I highly recommend everybody do that. They've been, Michael's been super gracious. He's even gone into the Discord to ask people if they have anything to say in terms of wanting to send in letters. So they've been amazing about that. I highly recommend doing that. There's a good chance your letter will make it, and it's always interesting to see what people have to say, their questions, their experience. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I love this. I love that they advertised the hardcover at the back of the issue, and I love that they advertised the upcoming Rogue Sun issue 25. I just want to say, it says the fire spreads, a new sun rises. Love that. I do want to say, guys, this age, in this day and age, it's very hard for a non-Big 2 book to go this long. It's very hard. Like I'm telling you this as someone who's worked as a retailer in comics, and I'm saying this as someone who's been in the hobby for like over 20 years. It's very hard these days to do that. It's very hard even for Marvel.
A lot of people aren't in it for the money. It's for the passion, the pure love of the game.
Even Marvel and DC, like if it's not one of the big,
it's not exactly.
It's not lasting.
It's not gonna last that long. Yeah, Marvel. Like, look how many times Marvel's reset Scarlet Witch volume. I think 5
Captain
times.
Marvel. Captain Marvel after Kelly Thompson has been reset twice already.
That run hit when I remember telling you when that run hit 50. I was like, if Kelly wasn't here, there was no way this run would hit 50 issues. There's like literally no way. Nobody else would do it.
Support the book as much as you can.
And not just these books. I highly recommend you support these books, but support any book that you like that's indie. Any creator-owned book, any indie comic book that you like. Buy those books. Try to get the single issues because that is the best way to keep it alive, to support it, to show your appreciation for it. And it's trust me, having the single issues, like think about something like Invincible. I was just telling the guys, I just sold off the rest of my Invincible collection today. Those books are so expensive now. Like each issue was, even the whatever issues, no key, nothing. They're all like $15, $20, $25, like minimum.
And you made a list back in the day of all the keys in Radiant Black. You might get an updated one of these days. But no, this book,
yes.
seeing that we got Kathy here, I mean, you really want to support. I love their picture is that big. Too,
and I'll give you guys a little. Yes, I love that. I'll give you guys a little Easter egg. Well, not Easter egg, a little crumb from us. The first appearance of Ori as Rogue Sun is actually in Radiant Black 18. So if you want the key,
shit,
the first appearance of Ori is Rogue Sun. It's not Rogue Sun 25. It's Radiant Black 18. That's the first appearance. And here's one people tend to forget. The first appearance of No One is not No One #1. It's Radiant Black 15, I think cover B, the Diego Sanchez pixelated cover, because No One is on that cover. So there's all these little things that they do where like those keys are littered throughout the runs, and they're in weird books, and they're not always in the #1s.
So if someone tries to give you a shit price, show them that image that Bash put up. Like, no, actually, you're wrong. That'll be an extra 20%, sir. No,
exactly.
But the Kathy thing, it is funny that she's like connected to the like Mayan statue. Like, I feel like we're just really trying. Like, this is just such bait. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, if Kathy's actually involved in the story, we see her beyond this, I'll be shocked.
What if it's alternate Kathy? What if it's
that's what I'm thinking too.
Absolute Kathy coming 2026. I will say, for anyone interested, Rogue Sun returns March 12th, 2025. So that's
and the crossover's coming too. We haven't mentioned it here.
Right? Yes. There's a crossover between Rogue Sun and Radiant Black happening soon. You can see on the cover of Radiant Black, I believe it's 33. What's the wolf's name? The wolf guy.
Billy Bloodmoon.
Billy Bloodmoon.
Yeah, Billy Bloodmoon. He's on the cover fighting Radiant Black, and they're teasing a Rogue Sun crossover, which we've got confirmation that it will happen. And then you've got that gorgeous cover of I think Rogue Sun and Radiant Black together by there's a few of them now, but there's that one cover that's like painted. Is it Rod Rice or something? I can't remember who it was, but it's a cool. Oh my god, it's a good cover. Like it's and then Stefano did the cover with them, which we made the Discord banner. Stefano Simeone, he did the cover for that issue where Radiant Black and Rogue Sun are together on the cover, and it's my god.
And we're going to cross over with the Rogue Sun podcast guys to celebrate. So it's going to be a big podcast. Here.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be 2 timelines. No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, for people moving forward, in case you're confused, so we do have an RSS feed for this podcast, and we've decided to post all the Rogue Sun MP3, just the audio on this show. So if you're keeping up with Radiant Black podcast, you're going to see all the Rogue Sun podcast episodes come up there. In terms of if you want the video, we're going to still do that on the Rogue Sun YouTube. So that's going to always stay at its own. Same thing with trivia and all that. We'll always cross-reference the and pull them over here, the audio, but all the video is always going to be on the Rogue Sun podcast. We do have plans. And I was going to say, it's funny because we do have plans to do Rogue Sun and Radiant Black trivia. But for the Rogue Sun trivia, it's going to be bigger, hotter, and with more Rogue Suns than ever. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot to talk about for Rogue Sun. Yeah, there's more Rogue Suns than ever. Literally, we have 3 Rogue Suns now, and I love the cover where they homage. We just posted it today on our social, so make sure you're following this. They're at Radiant Black Pod, at Rogue Sun Pod, pretty much everywhere. We posted the covers for the newest, the May solicited issues, which dropped today, and the Rogue Sun cover, the incentive cover for 27 is a homage to Jim Lee's Uncanny X-Men 268 cover. Which, if you remember, it's Cap, Black Widow, and I think Wolverine on that cover, and they're saying introducing them. But here it's like introducing Rogue Sun. I thought that was so funny, and they changed the color of the Rogue Sun, but it's like 3 different Rogue Suns because it's Marcus, Dylan, and Ori. So I thought that cover is sweet. They're gonna be hard to get, guys. I just told the guys I paid like $60 Canadian for the 1 in 25 for 25 for Rogue Sun 25. So they're not gonna be easy to find. They're gonna be super rare. Get on top of that. Anything else we want to add before we head on out, guys?
No, just excited to be back into the swing of things.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Give a quick shout out and thank you to our patrons: Noah M, Jordan C, Joe J, Patrick, and our newest patron. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam Miller. Thank you so much, guys. I want to give a quick apology for the newsletter. I've got this one's on me this time. I got swamped with work the past few weeks, but I was showing the guys some of the progress we have. It's very close, like 90-95% done. Just adding some finishing touches. I'm anticipating anytime within the next few days it'll drop. It's huge. It's like 30 pages at least. Tons of cool shit we put in there. And we're going to be doing it a regular thing. It's going to drop at least 4 times a year. We're trying to do it quarterly at least. So look forward to that. And we're going to make it Patreon exclusive for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're going to put it out to the public. And if it does well enough, maybe we'll even expand it and get community members to send in contributions beyond just artwork, like entries and everything. So yeah, good to be back. Good to be back with everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. We'll see you next time with the next installment of the rebuild era, and then next time with 2 Rogues. Stay radiant, everybody.